Our featured builder this week is Richard Harvin of Harvin Construction, a native of Mount Pleasant, South Carolina for over 20 years. He prides himself on building dream homes with the value and comfort you desire. To begin our journey, we travel to Charleston, South Carolina, a haven for builders like Richard Harvin. Since the late 1600s, the Charleston, South Carolina area has been a growing community of settlers that for many years have taken pride in the architecture of their cozy, warm, and culturally rich community. Richard Harvin is no exception. He is an expert builder who began his company with the intention of continuing to build dream homes in the Charleston, South Carolina area. Homes that reflect the traditional architecture of his native town, but also include modern designs and amenities that make your residence a unique time capsule, quaint and warm. Richard Harvin.
I'm Richard Harvin of Harvin Construction, and we're located in Mount Pleasant, South Carolina. I've lived in Mount Pleasant for almost 20 years. I'm the proud father of 4 children, and I'm involved with their lives as much as I can be. I'm not in a lot of civic clubs at all. I've more participated in being coaching for one of their sports they're playing at the time, basketball, or, football, soccer, whatever. And most of my volunteer time is for coaching on the rec level. When I was in the 7th grade, there was a huge ice storm came through Sumter, and school was let out for 2 weeks. Everybody got 2 weeks off vacation, except me. I worked for him the whole time. He was in the fuel oil business, and I was up at 7 o'clock every morning delivering fuel oil all over town. And that's just typical of the work ethic that I was instilled upon by my father and my family. We are a small company. We don't have a huge overhead with a large office, which I feel like for the homeowner, the person's trying to get a bid and a quote out, they end up getting a more competitive bid because we're smaller. We don't have all that overhead. And since we're smaller, we don't do a lot of houses. It frees me up for more supervision on the job. And we specialize in custom homes. We do some spec houses. Somehow we've seemed to attract a lot of doctors. We've done several houses for doctors in the area. And we're a smaller company. We don't do a huge amount of spec houses or tract homes. We specialize in just doing about 3 or 4 houses a year. And that frees me up to more overseeing of the work, more supervision of the subs that we have. I think that kind of separates us apart from most other builders. We've built in Allendale, Mount Pleasant, Daniel Island, Johns Island, which covers pretty much the whole Charleston area. Yesterday we were doing filming with some subs, and I felt more comfortable out there on the job site, seeing the work while we're doing interviews versus being here and knowing the work's going on. I'm not there to watch it, So I do feel more comfortable in the field than in the office. We have a great sub list. A lot of some subcontractors we've used for several years, and just been pleased with all of them. That said, they know that on future projects they will not be hired unless they do a great job, meet my expectations on the project they're on now. So each job they work on, they're proving themselves on every job. In-house, we get involved in building for a homeowner, for a new customer. We build that house like it's going to be my house. I'm going to build it like I'm going to move into it, like I'm going to raise my family into it. That's the type of workmanship I want the house to have. That's the type of quality I want the house to include. And I just won't settle for anything less than that. The homeowner can have as little or as much input into the project as they feel comfortable with. Some people, their comfort level is to be on site every day, watching you do your job. And we have another couple we did house for last year. They handed me the plans and they got on the sailboat. They went to the Bahamas for the year. So you have both extremes on how much you want to be involved with the project, and we're comfortable with either level of it. So sometimes if a change takes place, sometimes it does need to go back to the architect, get him to draw it up. If it's an engineer concern, it might have to go back to the engineer. But we're there to support any changes that need to be taking place, to offer our input in the best way to do it. But it's, I don't want to overstep my boundaries on what the architect sees is his property, or what the engineer says is his property either. So most times they come to me with a set of plans, a finalized set of plans, and it's my job to implement what's on paper, produce that in the field. That's my job. We've built stucco houses, brick homes, hardy plank siding. We've done a fair amount of those also. We've built houses that have a steamer in the shower, where they have a shower, body sprays, also with steamers included. And you can put a steamer in a shower for about $2,000. And that's, people love those things, Another homeowner, he brought me a picture of a magazine he saw, and it had a copper island, a copper countertop on the island. And he said, hey, that's what I want. I want that copper island. I don't care how you do it, but I want my island to be made out of copper. And he didn't want it polished or real clean or new looking. He wanted it tarnished or that patina look on it. That's what he wanted.
Our featured showcase was brought to you by Richard Harvin of Harvin Construction.
Well, we have 3 houses we're working on right now, and all of them are real different. One we saw yesterday, it's situated on a peninsula, right, overlooking the Intercoastal Waterway. They are sailors. They sail around the globe, it seems like, and they want to be right there on the water to watch all the ships come by. It's an unusual house in that it's the setback on both sides of the wetlands requires a very, very narrow house, and we had to get an architect in to really do some innovative ideas to make that house work on the amount of property we had to use. One project going on in Mount Pleasant, it's a spec house. It's going to be great. We're going to incorporate a lot of things I've learned from other homeowners. We'll incorporate some of those ideas into this new house we're doing, this spec house. We're going to have a copper island in it. We're going to have an elevator, steamer, things like that. We're going to incorporate some things we've got from jobs here and there and bring all the neat things into one project. We did a project over in Daniel Island last year, and the homeowner was right demanding, and it took a lot of work to pull everything together and get them into the house on time. They were really dead set on getting into the house by before Thanksgiving, and they had their Thanksgiving dinner right there in the house, a new home. The house is about 4,000 square feet, and it's an elevated house. It's parking down below, and there are 2 living floors above that. It has an elevator in it. That's really become popular for people to put a residential elevator in the house. And especially if it's going to be your dream home, your house you want to live in, forever, retire in. It's going to come a time in your life you can probably need that elevator as you get older.
Harvin Construction will not only build your home to meet all required specs. Richard Harvin believes it is important to keep his current and future clientele informed. As a professional consultant, Richard Harvin will educate you about why and how your residence is such a quality-built home.
With the new International Building Code, engineers and architects will try to put strapping on a house or a shear wall on a house in a lot of different ways. There are an unlimited number of ways to secure a house and make a shear wall or strap it. And you just have to be familiar with all the parts that come from Simpson, a tie-down company. And you have to be familiar with all the parts, and you have to be able to interpret what that plan is telling you to do and how to apply the strapping on it.
Of the opportunity.